Thank you very much, Ben. I think Ben had a bit of a remit. He was looking for an independent financial advisor, and he was looking in Leeds for someone that was honest, ethical, trustworthy, and he had to come to Barnsley. So, I'm sorry. So here I am. But I do support Leeds, so there you go. My industry is probably one of the worst industries for documentation. Everything you get through the post, it's just absolutely a nightmare for people. Now, I remember the days going back a long time ago when people who used to have investments just used to have the guy coming in Barnsley. It was a guy from the Prue used to come along on his bike or whatever he had, and if you took out a policy, you had a book, and he gave you the book, and you put 10 bob in, and he wrote 10 bob in your book. And he come the week after, and that's what you had. Now, if you wanted to expand your portfolio to include your family, you got another book. So you'd end up with 2 books. Now, that was really, really simple. I thought that was a great way of doing things. And part of me wishes that that was available now, because if that was available doorstep collecting, now people would actually save money where they don't save money anymore. But the FSA comes along, and because there'd been loads of mis-selling and everything like that, everything needed to be documented. So you started with the documents, you had to introduce people, you give them a terms of business, then you have to do a fact find, and now you have to do a risk profiler, then you have to complete an application form, and then you've got to be given quotations, and then you get a cooling off notice, and then you get your policy documents, and people get these rafts and rafts of paper, but they don't even know what they've got. So they keep it stored in boxes, and how much life assurance have I got? How much am I paying? People just haven't got a clue. So what we do then is we compound the situation by every year we send them more information, which they get and stick with that information. So it just becomes an absolute nightmare. I mean, I will go along, typically you go and see a new client for the first time, and you say, look, get all your information, let me have a look at it, let me sort it all out for you. And it is just absolutely unbelievable. You get a box from here and a box from there, and you get share certificates that don't exist anymore. You get valuation statements from 1997, and they're saying to you, should I keep this statement? So, well, probably you should, because it was worth more money in 1997, but you've got, and people just, well, should I destroy it? Should I keep? And there's so much information, stuff that you should just be getting rid of. Now, this has happened, built up over the years, and now you've got something that's been reintroduced. It's introduced called the TCF, which is treating customers fairly. So all customers it should be clear, fair, and not misleading. So we're trying to simplify the process. So to me, my business, Pennine, I try to keep the advice that I give simple, and so people can understand it, and I try to keep the documentation to a minimum, but there's certain documents that you've got to produce for people. So I'm constantly on the lookout for how I can simplify things and make things easier for people. And when Keith came along and introduced me to Ben, I thought, this seems just the right thing. How can I work with this to make it easier for my clients? So I can store everything in one place. They can, if I do have a 6-monthly or annual meeting, they can give me the things that they've got and say, what do I need to keep? I can take it away, I can scan it for them, put it on the system for them so they've got what they need. I can get the policy documents, I can scan them, put them all on, so it's all simple. We can do away with the boxes and the things that are no longer relevant. And I think that by doing this, it will sort of make people a lot clearer about the information that they've got, the information that they store, the information that they keep. And I'm really pleased that Ben has asked me to trial this, and I'm starting doing this with existing clients. So what I'm going to do is, from the initial advice process, the clients will know exactly what they've got, and it will be stored on the system for them to look at. So that is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. The other thing which I think it will work quite well with is with other professionals. So different people, as the previous speaker said, can have access to different parts of clients' sort of documents. So I see it where if we're dealing with an accountant, the accountant can have access to the pension details. They can have access to anything that's relevant to what they are doing. Then they can also put on the system. They could put companies' accounts. So it's all like a big joined up process. So people are all looking at the documents that are relevant to their particular profession. And I see that being a way of me, if a professional introduces a client to me, they've got access to the parts that they're interested in, and they can keep track of what I'm actually doing with their clients. So I just think it's a great idea, and I'm going to be using it, and I hope that I'm going to be using it for years to come. So thank you very much for letting me do it, Ben.
Thank you very much.